Oh, we're back, baby. We're back. Number one, I've done a lot of videos on the green wave of across the market. Okay, check out the past channel. I nailed that green wave call pre-election. Look at that move post-election. But in the point, I only bring that up because prophecy is fulfilled. I'm telling you, strap in, get ready. This winter and all of 2023 is going to be lit, son. Can I talk like that at 48 years old? Probably not. Anyway, that being said, low floats are back. Hence the heavenly. Oh, okay, man. This is what's awesome about low floats. First of all, low float big movers never die. They may go into hibernation. Okay, they may hibernate for a week or so or days, but they never die. Okay, the low float short squeeze. I've talked about this so many times, but that episode 179 of the Steady Trade podcast still our my favorite, our most downloaded episode. But I went in detail on what changed me in 2015 from 90% short bias for 9 years or whatever, from 2006 to 2015. Okay, and then I recognized a shift. And watch that episode, absorb it. JJ VWAP Trader, incredible guy. He's got an amazing podcast. He's been around like 30 years or something. But anyway, that is when the low float short squeeze really went parabolic. Okay. And it's been the best setup for 7 years since. And it ain't going away. It ain't going away. And we go over the details in that podcast. Now, why am I so happy? Everything changed last Friday. Okay. Last Friday would have been November 11th, Pixie, okay? Worst, most disgusting stock in the world, but this is how it always happens. And this is what I want you to look for. Listen, for a couple weeks, low floaters were quiet. Not much going on. A lot of failed dip and rips. I mean, flat out. I mean, for about a week, we had some, decent low float box checkers, had news, former runner, had decent volume. Now, the one thing lacking the last week or so was volume. We weren't getting the volume follow through that we saw today. So that's something to watch for, especially, if you're trading those low float dip and rips. If the volume isn't, exceptional, and we talk about a lot of those criteria in the Steady Trade team. We talk about volume projection, how we project that through the day, how we determine, good levels of volume, et cetera, versus the 60-day average and float rotation, do a bunch of math and stuff. But we don't have time for that here. But we do that a lot in the Steady Trade team. But if you're seeing those lighter volume plays, it's not you don't trade them. Best thing to do is just scale back your size and maybe scale back your expectations. Again, if you're looking for some $2 stock to go to $4, because that was, they were doing that a few weeks ago, maybe you dial it back and you look for a 2 to 3 move. But anyway, what we love to see, and this so often happens, especially on a Friday, we get one of the trashiest stocks in the world, squeezes on a Friday, and it just wakes up low floaters. So Pixie actually had a good Thursday, really. On Thursday, also did a very, very low volume VWAP hold. Okay, I'm going to go to a 1 month candle instead, or 1 minute, just to show you. Give me a 5-day here. I'll zoom in. And because again, it was very illiquid. So kind of had this gap up and then ran, but very illiquid, but did go from 9 to 12, kind of under everybody's radar. I want to be clear, very low volume, never even hit my scans on Thursday. But then we come in Friday and everybody's like, hey, did you see Pixie went from 9 to 12? It's like, whoa, here we go. Fast forward to Friday, gaps up, grinds higher all day. Again, atrocious volume, going back to the fact that we didn't have much volume in low floats. Then it does a VWAP hold, hits the squeeze levels at 3:50 p.m. and goes from 17 to 28. Now, that maybe you caught it, maybe you didn't. Friday afternoons, you always want to watch these trashy low floaters. But that isn't what I want to focus on. Well, I want to focus on that because that's how it always happens. There's always one. And it's usually the most disgusting, worst stock in the world that brings things back. Fast forward to today, the best play of the day is TBLT. Go back. Worst stock in the world. Trash, disgusting, okay? Always fails. Every single spike fails. Go to their website. They make like, I always joke about this stock because this stock runs over and over again. It's like Fisher Price made construction gear for adults. I mean, that's what their stuff looks like. No offense, but if you use TBLT's gear, but it's like Fisher Price is like, hey, we're going to make construction gear for, grown construction workers. And that's what their stuff looks like. So anyway, had news, actually, as much as I bash it, pretty solid news. They big beat on earnings per share, big boost on revenue, like a 76% boost in revenue. So then it spikes up in pre, trades great volume, 12 million floater. You can see we're going in the end of the day, 70 million shares traded. It traded the float in pre-market. That's what we want to see. Low float rotation. Then we got an Oracle signal level at 277, which as always, I say, listen, I was instrumental in the design of Oracle. We often agree. Basically, that was a dip and rip. It pulled back in the pre-market down to right after market open in the 250s, retested that 270 level. Here we are at $4. And again, trading 70 million shares. And like I said, you're probably going to be watching this after the fact. Well, obviously you will. It's got to get uploaded and edited and everything. But get excited, okay? Because this is how it always starts. Pixie, worst stock in the world. TBLT, worst stock in the world. Look at this thing just punishing shorts into the close. Love, love, love it. It's going to pin the close, probably gap and go tomorrow. So why do we like that so much? Because now everyone starts looking for the next low floater. And then all of a sudden there's 2 a day. Then there's 3 a day. And then there's 5 a day. And I tell you, and this is something that I teach over and over again, these heavily shorted stocks that respond to key levels. I can't stress enough how predictable they are once you learn the patterns. Okay, you got to learn the patterns. Best way to do that is get in the Steady Trade team every single morning, hour-long webinar, 2 webinars a day, 3,000 archive webinars, worksheets, ebooks. I mean, it's everything. Live mentoring, pre-recorded email access. Okay, once you learn these patterns, I mean, look at this 3-waiver too. I mean, you get the dip and rip in the morning, you get a midday VWAP hold and a late day VWAP hold. That's the 3-wave pattern. Another one we talk about when you get float rotation like this, so often happens. And again, probably is a gap and go and probably is a red to green. So that basically this one stock, if you're familiar with, the ebook and those top 5 long patterns I talk about, basically this stock's 4 patterns. Okay. That's what we love because they respond to those levels and they're the most predictable setups out there. So if a lot of this stuff maybe didn't make sense or you didn't quite fully understand it, or maybe you kind of got it, but you want more, check out the Steady Trade team. It's the most immersive mentorship program out there. Click it. I'd love to work with you tomorrow.